type of intellectual property protection that applies under the facts that I just gave. And then here's a true, number 4 is like in number 3 above, I changed a fact slightly and then ask you to answer another question. So it's one of these things, so I've got 5 is a truth falsehood, and then 6 and 7 are multiple choice.
These all look really easy to me.
Yeah, darling, but you taught IP and half of them are no, not half of them.
You want to take my test?
Oh, really?
It's really not that bad.
So did we cover it all?
I'm looking to see right now. What we have not covered in this review section tonight would be, we did not go through I mentioned your philosophers. We didn't actually go through what any of them are famous for. So if you've got that information in your head, like for example, I did talk about cardinal virtues, the tyranny of the majority, marketplace of ideas, egoism, golden mean, some of those things we specifically mentioned, if you know to whom they are attributed.
Do you think we could just go over those philosophers? Because that was just such a long time ago.
Yeah, but you know what though? The 5 names are there. You could almost like guess. Couldn't you? Okay, I'm laughing. I could guess.
Alan went to law school.
This is the quiz that I'm
I got it
holding.
right here. Egoism, much of it.
Taught at law school.
Yeah.
Exactly. The names, it's not going to be, like, I'm looking at the list and I'm thinking,
More just short answer, like Machiavelli goes with egoism, who goes with golden mean?
yeah, but see, now that I'm looking at them, I don't want to just give you the quiz answers. Maybe let me check this. Let me
I'm
check the
asking
exam.
for more, like, also just for the test, too. I mean,
Yeah. Well, I'm going to pick up the exam right now, and the exam has a section. Okay, on the exam there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The exam has 9 philosophers and 9 things that they are known for.
could we go through those?
Well, we've already mentioned several of them, and so on the quiz I just mentioned the subjects. So let me just run through names for the exam purpose and then see if you guys can put them together in your head. So we mentioned J.S. Mill already. Did we mention Milton already today?
No.
Tonight?
No.
Yes. You should definitely know about our buddy Milton and his primary thing. Carol Gilligan, you know what she was famous for? Anybody know that? She was the one female.
Oh, the care thing?
Yes, the compassion, ethic of care, if you've got that in your head. Aristotle, Plato, Kant we mentioned, Machiavelli we mentioned, and the only ones on my list that we have not mentioned yet tonight were Hobbes and Locke, Thomas Hobbes and John Locke. So then probably you can go through your notes, or even you don't have, probably you didn't bring the Bivens book with you. I have mine, I can go get it and throw it down here, and while we eat dessert, you know, or something, and do the quiz later. So you just kind of need to know who those people are, who those things are that we spoke of. Let's see. Let me look at the review quiz that we're going to look at tonight.
Can I ask you a quick question before you
Sure.
read that subject? In my notes from class, what's the difference between golden rule and golden mean? Is it the same thing?
Well, no. The golden rule is kind of one of your non-consequentialist people with your following a particular rule, because it's a rule. Rule-based people, non-consequentialists. The golden mean was a philosophy whereby the ethical choice is usually this mean between the 2 extremes. So if you have too much courage, you're foolish. Not enough courage and you're cowardly. Somewhere in the middle, right, is where you actually end up with what he calls courage. So too much courage is here, too little is here. The mean is what you're after, and we call that courage. So you're not a coward, you're not a fool, you're simply brave, right? And then you have your idea where if you are too, what is it? What word did they use? Too stingy is one end of the scale, but and is bad, and too generous is the other end of the scale, and that's also bad. But the golden mean would be your right level of compassion, you know? Your wise charity. The idea of the golden mean is not necessarily a numerical average, but the notion that between the extremes of any attribute is where you really want to be. Alright, so that's the explanation of the golden mean. Let me just look this quiz over. You guys remember journalistic truth? Bivens and the 3 attributes of journalistic truth? In class I gave ABC, exactly, way to go, Ryan.
Accuracy, brevity.
Not brevity, not brevity. You don't have to be brief to be a journalist. What would the B stand for?
Balance and context.
There you go. Make sure you know those things. They show up again and again.
Wait, will you say that again?
Your 3 attributes or the things that comprise journalistic truth. And I gave people the clue in class to remember them by A, B, C, kind of your mnemonic.
So it's
Oh, I did not remember
And Taylor remembered. A was, anybody go ahead, throw it out, accuracy. What would be your B?
balance.
Balance, not bias. I had people write bias on an exam. It
You
was
must
so
have
funny.
bias.
Yes, you must have bias. No, you need to avoid bias. You need to be balanced. And then C for journalistic truth, context. And you can understand the concepts, but even I use ABC to remember them. So give yourself a little something like that to help you. All right, now let me see. I'm going to look at the exam. I think we've covered everything that's on the quiz. You can take a few minutes to learn your little philosophy.
There's a couple of hard things.
Intellectual properties.
Yes.
Go over those.
There's a lot of intellectual property
Do you
here.
want us to like look at like
You could tell them the names of the guys they
things
should
that you
know.
have with your rights, copyright
You
rights?
definitely should know. I think on your quiz for intellectual property, I had you name 4 of your 6 exclusive rights of copyright. There are 6 exclusive rights in copyright, and I don't think I've asked you to name any more than 4 at any given time. Yes, sir.
Do we have to know the cases at the end of the book?
You don't need to know every single case. There are cases we covered in class specifically.
So like Times vs. Sullivan?
So New York Times versus Sullivan, and there'll be a couple more in advertising tomorrow, because the development of advertising law is pretty common law based.
Can you quickly just go through those 6 rights? Just
Oh, the 6 exclusive rights of copyright? Anybody name? Number 1, you can to reproduce it. That's not in any order. When I ask these questions, I don't ask you to name the best one. So you reproduce and create derivative works. That means your sequels, your Star Trek 2, 3, 4, The Wrath of Khan, whatever. Display, and then you've got some more. Your performance.
And digital performance. Or
I
digital.
didn't distinguish. So perform and then distribute.
And transmit.
Yeah, and then I guess transmit would be broadcast.
Can you not say that's like, because there is a difference. It says in the book there's like performance on digital audio transmission, and then there's performance of the actual copyrighted work.
Well,
Some of them go together if there's a transmission and performance, say like a YouTube video.
Well, but sometimes they're
normally
broadcasting
performance is like in a
live
bar or
on the
something.
Met.
It's distinguishing them as
Right, but I'm not going to ask, you're never going to get tripped up on this exam because I'm splitting hairs between performing. If I use the word perform, I'm looking at live.
I understand.
So
I'm
look at
just
your
trying
live
to
performance.
Figure out what a word would be for the digital stuff.
Transmission.
Transmission.
Broadcast.
Thank you.
Yes. So, and it's not necessarily digital, which is why that threw me off when you asked the question, because now we've got digital TV, but that's not the only way stuff goes out there. There's still analog radio, analog signals.
those are the 6 what?
Exclusive rights of copyright.
What are broadcasts and
Page 563.
would that come under distribution though?
No.
That's what I call the bundle of sticks, is the exclusive rights, and the 8 categories is what I call the subject matter.
To distribute means I make multiple copies and I hand them out. If I'm going to just, but I could play my song on the radio, or you could have sheet music of my song, or you could have a CD of my song, right? If I wrote the song, I can do that. I can distribute my sheet music. I can sit there on the piano and have my husband bring up his microphones, and we can record it on his little mixer. Wait, do we still have the mixer? It's in the computer now, right? Never mind. It's entirely
What about people
irrelevant.
who do like covers and then sell
Good
the CDs?
question.
Like,
If you're doing a cover, that just means that you're recording a song that somebody else has made famous.
We didn't talk about ASCAP. Did we? Was in the book?
ASCAP, BMI, they had music rights organizations in the book. That's not one of the alphabet soups that you're going to need to
when
know.
radio stations play a song or you do a cover, you're actually, that's a mandatory license. The copyright owner can't prevent you. They just get paid. There's a
And they get
you
paid
have
a
to pay it
statutory
into
amount.
this fund, and the fund pays the artist.
so what if a band did a cover and they never paid the artist, they would be.
Yeah, they'd be in trouble.
They'd be in big trouble.
When you're a
Well,
band that travels from bar to bar, you know, you're a traveling band. They have a an account number with the the organization, and then they're gonna play it, and they're gonna. It doesn't cost much. It's pennies, basically every time they play it, they have to
Right.
pay into the fund.
But
Some bands don't register, and they can end up eventually getting in trouble. I mean,
they have to get famous enough to get on somebody's
exactly.
radar,
You're just some guy who goes and sits down in downtown LA with your guitar and puts out, you open your guitar case and hope people throw coins in there. They're not going to come after you. But if you're a band that's actually traveling around,
You're getting gigs,
You're getting
making
gigs.
money, getting some bank.
you make sure you get registered and you pay your thing because it doesn't cost you very much.
Well, and I will tell you too, sometimes it's not even the band that registers. I mean, your textbook you would have read about often it's the venue that will pay. Like if you have karaoke come in every Friday night